All right, so Brendo, one thing that I wanted to chat a little bit more about was the program.
Yep.
Why is it so crap?
Well,
Okay,
let's just rephrase that. Well, a program's only as good as its adherence.
Mhm.
So, with programming, at the end of the day, it's managed to be a certain way to deliver a certain series of results over a certain period of time. So, a very simple periodization. So there's going to be at some points where you're going to be needing to work on strength, then there's going to be sometimes you're going to need to be working on cardio, then there's times that you're going to need to be working on power. Throughout the week, you just can't do everything. So you just can't be lifting heavy every single session, or otherwise you're just simply not going to recover well enough. You're not going to actually enjoy the benefits of a holistic experience.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I guess the question that I want to ask is, what goes into your thoughts, or what is the process that you go through when you think about programming for the members each week?
So my thoughts about programming is lifting heavy weights is beneficial for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when it comes to your relative gym training age, so if someone's coming in and it's their first session, then we're not going to expect them to do a 1RM. So they're going to be working, we even modify reps for new people coming in to have that, perfect range between that 8 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
So 8 to 10 sort of ranges when you're first starting is going to elicit the most amount of adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
When you start progressing, your gym training age starts getting above, a year and a half. That's when we can actually start doing, cool and sexy training cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Now with that, we also have to take into recovery. So when people are coming in, I'm just thinking about what's enjoyable for them, what's going to give them the most bang for their buck, and also how is it going to improve not only their health, but will we also cater for the people who are looking to actually go to that next level as well.
Mm-hmm.
So holistically, we have the ability of catering for everyone. So as much as it's a group program, there is a fair bit of individualization that actually goes into it.
Okay. What are your thoughts on programming, Dean?
I like that because when you look at training age, right, you go into a 1RM even if you're completely new. There's no way that's a correct representation of what you can actually lift.
Mm-hmm.
One, you don't know the technique. So two, it's not going to be as efficient as possible. So you're not going to produce the same amount of weight that your body can actually do until you know how to do the movement.
Mm-hmm.
So hence the 8 to 10 rep range. You learn the movement, and then once your training age does develop.
And when you say training age, you're talking not about
how many years
they've been training for.
You're under a barbell.
Okay.
How many years you're doing gymnastics.
Yeah.
How many years you're building your cardiovascular system.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of those take into account because your training age can be, say, 10, 15 years, like some of our members that have done athletic sports prior.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they come into gymnastics, training age, zip.
Yeah.
Don't know how to move their body. So it has to be based on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I like that. And I guess from my point of view, when I think about all the new people that come through the doors, and then also you've got members that have been here for a while, how do you best convey and communicate the ongoing program to them to make sure that they understand what you're trying to achieve so they can get the best results every time they come in?
So a lot of that actually just comes down to, well, I guess knowing your athletes. So actually speaking to them in the brief as much as I possibly can without boring people.
Mm-hmm.
I do cover off, and obviously the attention span. I think I've only got probably about 1 minute before people start darting around.
But they start going.
But
Frisbee time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so a lot of that time is just speaking to people and also understanding what they actually want out of their time here. And then also having slight modifications for that. So if someone's, obviously new here, they need to focus on this. If they need to focus on, say, pull-ups, I'll be like, well, make sure you don't go too heavy today because we've got pull-ups tomorrow because you really want to get those gymnastics movements. So everything really comes down from an area of strength. Mm-hmm. So you're going to... And it's one of my frustrations is like, we don't have to spend enough time, doing technique for handstand push-ups. It's, well, if you can't do a bodyweight push-up correctly without, back arching, you probably shouldn't be going up onto the wall just yet. Mm-hmm. Spend the time and enjoy the time of actually getting the simple things right. Mm-hmm. Don't always look for that 1%. Focus on getting the 99% right because, even with like elite sport athletes, like most of the time they're just doing really, really basic programming until probably about 3 to 5 years into their timing, and then they can start doing the cool, sexy stuff.
And that's with the majority of people.
Yeah.
Still need to do the push up,
Yeah.
and then the modifications. If you are talented enough to do the handstand push up, we've got coaches that will tell you to do these specifications when it's necessary.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be neglected if you're advanced, but tailoring to the majority of getting your push-ups right, that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the main thing that I think about as well, as far as delivering the content or delivering the program to people. To be able to put together something for a couple hundred people to make sure that everyone's getting results.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Like on the Sunday when you sit down and you start banging out the program and you start typing and thinking and going, well, what's going to bring, like how many months or weeks in advance are you with the program?
So with the program, the general block of it is, so the basic block of the strength periodization is based over a 6 to an 8 week block. So that's the moment that we're having a look at that. I do subscribe quite a fair bit to what's called agile periodization. Agile periodization gives you a lot of area for flexibility. If we had locked in, it doesn't really let us, get the feel for what's actually happening in the gym. So, it's very good if you buy a program off of someone, that person doesn't have their hands dirty. They're not deep down and actually dealing with a one-on-one. Agile periodization gives you the ability to actually make adjustments on the fly. What that also does, it also gives you more specificity to the individuals that you have at that particular point in time. So the core blocks of it, progressive overload. It's pretty simple. We know how that actually works. When it actually comes to, say, the Metcons are generally going to be looking at areas where I see deficiencies in the group, and then I am going to then ask them to perform something that's a little bit more advanced, or a benchmark workout that's going to actually then show off how well that they did that. One thing that we had was with the open. With the open, we noticed that there was a heck of a lot of lunges and there was a heck of a lot of box step-ups. Surprisingly enough, we had 8 weeks worth of lunges and box step-ups and also achieving... Previous to it. And that wasn't just for the open. That was just general strength and conditioning to actually then get your back squat up. So general preparation in regards to addressing the holistic view of athletic performance is where I actually sit. And then I will do things. So, there are my rocks. I like to pull up twice a week. I like to lunge. I like to step up as well once a week. So it'll be put in there in some sort of form at one point in the week as part of a Metcon. And you're going to back squat and you're going to hinge once a week. And we're going to ollie once a week.
And that's with the back squat, lo and behold, how many people PR'd.
Yeah.
But that was from a study that we spoke about.
Absolutely.
That nobody probably didn't see the conversation, but we spoke about a study that recently came out, and back squatting to get your back squatting up can be good, but step ups were better.
Yeah.
Okay, so the study shows that different movements...
No, step ups.
Or as
step
in
ups
specifically step ups.
The different movement besides the back squat actually strengthened their ability to get better back squats.
Yeah.
And then you get to actually test that in real time and see
exactly
what the results are like.
Yeah.
So
and it was perfect, right?
Yeah.
Did most people PR?
Most people PR'd, and we actually...
PR'd or PB'd?
PB'd. Yeah, I don't really like the term PR.
I like PR.
Yeah.
Personal record.
For everyone to see.
Glorified.
If you've done little laughs, you've just... it's PBs all the time.
But with that, so 4 to 6 weeks, or 6 to 8 weeks, where you strength block...
So the odd...
And then you adjust on the fly accordingly.
So it's
like a rough guide, and then Metcons, would you do like a few weeks ahead, and then based on what's coming up in the gym, you'll then modify?
Okay, so the Metcons are based around interval base. So we're based around long to short intervals. So at the moment, we've actually moved in, and the members will probably start seeing this once they start hearing this sort of stuff. So at the moment, I do quite enjoy the longer intervals, so the 90 seconds on, 30 seconds rest. Intensity is what drives everything. And then once a week or twice a week, depending on how intense the workouts are, you're going to go for either 1 minute or 45 seconds. So the idea behind that is to actually put you up to above 90% or above, and then spend some time above there. You can't increase your VO2 max if you never go there. And it's one of my pet peeves in regards to CrossFit itself is like, I'm pacing. Well, no, today's not a day to pace. It is 45 seconds. I need to get your
Sprint.
time at 90% or above, or otherwise you're missing the point of the workout.
It's a good segue into training versus competing, right?
Exactly right.
But you're choosing those intervals, for those that probably don't know, specifically to energy systems.
Yeah, there's energy system development as well that comes into that. So holistically targeting absolutely everything in your energy system. So from the aerobic, anaerobic, and ATP. Oh, we don't really hit the ATP unless you're doing Ollie. But then, that comes back down into, how many chips. So if you think about your energy system as chips that you can spend, how can I actually then get the most amount of energy and hold it for a longer period of time, therefore get a higher intensity workout? That's the sort of thought process that actually goes into all the workouts. And then there's on specific days when I also take recovery into consideration as well.
So does that kind of answer the programming stuff?
I think so. And I think what we'll move into now quickly is, so when it comes to, I guess, dealing with putting in years and years of training, because you're a competitive CrossFitter, like you try to put yourself out there as much as possible and throw your hat into the ring.
Yep.
How do you find it as far as putting in years and years and years of training, following a program, and then going to the competition and getting absolutely smashed and just not doing anywhere near what you thought you were going to do? How do you deal with that? What is your process as far as trusting in the programming, or being able to bounce back from that type of psychological punch to the face, basically?
Yeah, because it is like, when you think about it, not everything is going to go to plan. And particularly with team stuff or partner stuff, like, there's a lot of variables, right? Sometimes you can't just take things on face value as, did I do well in a competition? All right, I didn't. Okay, so I'm not fitter. This program's not working. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Or I need more. Maybe you need less. Maybe you need more recovery. That's the process. Is me refining nutrition, me refining sauna, massage, and sleep.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. And with the team stuff, we had a couple events that weren't ideal for us. We had people. It was more a workout, like those workouts were more experienced the moment being on the floor. That's how I took it. And so all I did to answer your question, to bounce back from having something that wasn't successful, was to take away the things that I could control and then improve on. And that's as simple as it was. But I just don't feel like I blame the program at all. Like, I know I'm getting fitter, but that's confidence within myself. It's confidence within the coach. So I feel like it's still hitting the areas that I wanted to. That success wasn't what I wanted, but I can then I don't dwell on that. I move on to something that I can improve, something that I do have control over to have a better result.
Rather than thinking, hey, the program wasn't ideal, it didn't work for me.
Why blame external factors? Why can't I look internally and be like, all right, well, what do I need to do to give more to the team? What do I need to do to have more of an individual improvement?
Yeah.
I find it's too easy to be like, oh, well, I didn't do well because, the program was shit. The other people didn't do as well as what I did, or like, oh, the workouts were just not to me, or I haven't done these exercises lately. What? Like, we do CrossFit, so then we do have like a broader stroke of fitness for all these things.
So that's the thing as well with programming and with CrossFit in general. It's to prepare you for anything that might come your way. And as far as being able to be the most productive and successful competitor, being able to be consistent with your training obviously is probably the first thing, but highlighting and focusing on nutrition, recovery, sleep, and those things that I think a lot of people think, hey, if I just train harder, I'm going to be fitter.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. And over the 5 years, it doesn't work. I've seen it. Like, I've tried to train harder. All right, well, 2 hours isn't enough, I'll do 3. 3 hours isn't enough, I'll do 4. 2 2-hour sessions, and like, I'm going to get fitter. It doesn't. Like, it puts you in a bigger hole. Like, I've physically seen my numbers. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. I actually heard, I follow this guy, I think his name's now Ravi Chandler. It used to be Ronnie Teasdale. And
Okay.
he talks about his way of training and his way of approaching his methodologies behind successful progression.
Yeah, right.
And he does things like he'll sleep in a teepee for a week or two and then just goes into a river every day.
What?
That's right, and just gets sunlight and doesn't train. And then he'll do that, and then he'll work on breathing exercises. He won't back squat for 6 months, and then he goes in and back squats and beats his previous squat. But he is doing other forms of training. It's not just being out in the sun and sleeping in a teepee all day, because
Yeah.
that's definitely not
Goals.
going to work.
Goals.
Yeah.
Goals.
But he goes with a different approach. So he
Yeah.
approaches it by going into nature or going into various other methods that, say, other people aren't using, other people aren't doing, and trying to connect with himself in a different way to actually fire up his energy system or fire up his mind and do something that is out of the box.
Yeah,
And he
right.
finds that that's in some ways having a positive impact, not only just on his athletic progression, but also on his mental health.
Yeah, that I'm very factual based. Like if I haven't got like previous history to
I think
look back
the point that I was
Yeah.
trying to highlight wasn't so much that's the way to go, to get results is to go and swim in a river. I think I'm more focusing on it's not always just smash
Train
yourself in
harder.
the gym,
Yeah.
train. You've got to find ways to relax. You've got to find ways, and that's with everything in life. It's not just going to be your focus on training. It's just like how are you going with your studies, how are you going in the workplace, how are you going with your family. If you're just pushing and punching and fighting and muscling through every single experience, you're not going to be able to hold that consistently.
Yeah,
I think
spot on.
that also comes back down to knowing your goals and knowing exactly what you want to work on and what you actually want to get out of a workout. So if your goal is general health, okay, general health volume is key.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just need to get in and you need to start moving.
The
So
more
if
you can do, the better.
exactly,
For
and
volume.
that's for general health.
So if you're talking general health, how many times a week minimum do you think people should train?
Oh well, you can lift heavy once, maybe twice a week, but you can train every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Now,
the intensity.
training, if you're going at a certain intensity, you need to deal it back. If you're feeling a little bit sore, you're not going to crush a Metcon if you're coming in feeling at 60%.
So you're saying
come
when
in-
you come into the gym, don't get caught up in the razzle dazzle type of got to push, got to go RX, got to beat that person next to me. If you're feeling like you're not 100%, go
Yeah.
at the percent that you're at.
Absolutely.
That's competing versus training.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
going back to the original thing.
So- And then, I'll brush upon in regards to getting up to the actually standard to compete because you just can't come in and compete. I guess where I'm going with this one, if you're looking at training for health, well then come in and get volume in. Come in 5 times a week and then talk to the coach. Be like, I'm feeling a little bit this way. Cool. We'll switch over to the bike rather than double unders. Do a little bit of this, do a little bit of this, and we'll modify it for you. If you are training to compete, you need to come in with a clear and defined purpose. If you are chucking up junk reps, so if you want to get better at your weightlifting and you go into a Metcon and you're just doing bicep curls, you really haven't actually come in and actually gotten any better. You've just come in and chucked up a whole bunch of junk reps, and that's not actually going to help you if you are a competitive athlete. Coming in with purpose, coming in and saying, I want to work on my kip today. I'm just going to go up there and I'm just going to hack around. I'm not going to really think about where my foot placement is. I'm not going to listen to the coaching cues that the coaches have given me. I just want to get as many as I possibly can in. Lo and behold, I can only get 16 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And I've only been able to get 16 in a row.
That's
Why
a
is
high
that?
number.
Yeah. But if the movement starts to break down, stop,
Yeah.
have a break. Talk to your coach as well. Why do
Mm.
you think my movement's breaking down? How many strict pull-ups can you do? Oh, 4? Okay. Let's get those numbers up. And then we can focus on that. Focus on your kip. Focus on your hollow body. Focus on your midline stability. That's what's going to help.
So I guess, you guys have been training for quite a while. You're in the game. How have you made sure that when you want to just get results now and you want to get that adrenaline rush from succeeding with your training as far as seeing good numbers all the time, consistently progressing up, how have you made sure that you don't let that pressure of always trying to just improve every single session not take over?
Staying humble.
Yeah.
It really is. You have to take the ego away. The idea behind that is if you can see if you haven't got strict pull-ups right, and you're trying to kip for heaps of reps, it doesn't work, right? Stop beating yourself against the wall. Take a different route. We've always spoke about this.
Yeah.
If you keep heading bang on it and it's not working,
Yeah.
take a different approach.
Yeah.
And that's, if you don't have the knowledge to know a different approach, go to someone who does. Coach.
Yeah.
Hence why I have a coach. Hence why everyone that comes here has a coach every single time.
Who's
they
your
come.
coach, Brendan?
Who's my coach? You're my coach.
Your life coach?
My life coach.
Life coach.
My life
What a
coach.
title.
And yeah, I mean, with my age at the moment, I'm focusing on performance. Oh, sorry, I'm focusing on health. I mean,
Performance.
Yeah, performance. Well,
Just train hard every day. AMRAPs
Yeah.
only.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a full-time coach.
Yeah.
My time spent isn't to become a full-time athlete.
Yeah.
It's to be the best coach that I possibly can.
And
so
to
all
just
my
have-
energy.
Well, that's a good
there.
example. It's a good example that you're going to set as well to the members, because if you can say, hey, listen, I've got a full-time job,
Yeah.
but I want to be the healthiest version I can be, and then also in that job, present the best that I can as somebody who loves health and fitness.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
That's cool.
yeah, essentially, like, and it's also knowing my weaknesses. So the fact that I love Olympic weightlifting.
Mhm.
It's what I really, really enjoy. Do I celebrate the wins when I feel that the movement from my first to second pull increases? Absolutely, because I know by celebrating and working on that little part that eventually it will pay off in the end.
Yeah.
That it will pay off on a heavy lift, and lo and behold, every single time it does. It's about understanding what your goal is. So not, I just want to lift heavier weights, so I'm just going to lift heavy weights. It's like, okay, what area of the squat am I bad with? Am I bad at coming out of the hole? Am I bad at lowering down? Do my knees collapse in? Okay, well, my knees aren't collapsing in at 90% now. Sweet. If I continue on with this, that means my 1RM is going to go up. Or if my health and my time trials aren't going up, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to run as hard as I possibly can. Are you actually thinking about your running? Are you actually thinking about your foot placement? Everything is a skill that you need to be able to concentrate on. But this is the luxury that they've got.
Okay, so I guess, and that's the thing as well, I guess to like wrap it all up
Yep.
for today, what I think we can probably all agree on is the idea that more is better, or pushing yourself when you're exhausted is better, is obviously old news. That's not something that we want to push at all.
Yep.
Anything else you want to talk about before we finish off today?
No, I think that pretty much wraps it up in terms of programming.
Yeah.
But understanding whether you are training for health, whether you are training for performance, if you don't know a different route and you're not getting results, ask someone who does.
And yeah, that's exactly what was leading into me. If you're not really too sure, come sit down with us. We're more than happy to have a chat. I mean, talk to your coach. That's what we're here for. I mean, we dedicate our lives to, essentially this entire game. So I think we enjoy quite a fair bit talking about it. Otherwise, wouldn't be on a podcast talking about programming
well,
for
that's
30
right.
minutes.
And I feel, if someone doesn't know whether they're doing too much, too little, if they're not recovering or not, just ask. It's so simple.
Yeah.
Bring it up, speak about it.
Have the conversation.
Yeah.
And
Way
have fun
better.
with it.
And that's how we bring the community together. That's why we're doing this podcast, is so we can create conversations to make us all better. So,
Absolutely.
Love it. All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. And I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
I look forward to the one next week.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Signing off.
Ciao.